we are again then.
I mean, that weather's looking good where you are.
It's always like this in Salisbury all the time. I tell you what it is. It's like a Novichok microclimate that exists around Salisbury, around the cathedral particularly. I shan't go on in terms of bad taste jokes about that things. Anyway, I'm Rich Knight and he's Ryan Aspel. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm right.
Well?
Yeah, I want you to join me for a coffee or a voffy.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice background. Have a voffy.
Yeah, got me coffee.
Virtual.
Yeah, no, I'm all right. Thank you. I've been amazed this week, though. You know, how things change in 7 days, don't they? You know, I've come to the conclusion that vaccines are like buses. You've been waiting ages and then 2 turn up.
Well, could even be 3 fairly soon. Would you? Gurtlash.
Yeah, 3. There won't be any room in the bus stop in a minute.
I know, exactly. But it's all good news. It's all good news. And hey, didn't we see the markets react? I was speaking to somebody earlier on today. We're recording this beginning of this week, aren't we? It's Friday.
Yeah.
When we release this, but this is earlier on in the week. It's all the mysteries of podcasting, everybody. It's all very exciting. I was speaking to somebody about the markets, the old money markets pinging up. So vaccine coming along, everybody's getting happy, aren't they? Confidence in the markets, which actually led me to think confidence in our customers as well. Is that going to have an impact? Are we going to see a change? We've got Christmas coming up. We've spoken about it a couple of times, but I'm just thinking, how's that going to impact, in terms of going into Christmas now? We still can't do all the same things, but confidence makes a big difference. And we know this because we've been doing some research over this whole time. It shows that people were less confident, but actually it's changing again. So what do you reckon?
I reckon that's a good point, because, look, all joking aside, I think what the announcements of the vaccine in the last couple of weeks have highlighted is that there is this. I heard somebody say it this morning. This is kind of the beginning of the end of this nightmare that we've been in, and I thought that was a really good description, actually, because look, we know that the winter is still going to be difficult. We know Christmas probably isn't going to be the normal sort of Christmas. It's certainly not going to be from a trading perspective for businesses. But we also know that effectively we've now got 2 effective vaccines, as you said, soon to be sort of 3 or 4, and I think that it's already affected the markets. It will start to instill some confidence, and I think it will help business and overall consumer thoughts around reaching back out to brands. And then that got me thinking about, on the vaccine theme, how are businesses ready for a return to kind of a normal sort of what is normal now, but normal reality of pre-pandemic of what customer expectations are? Because I think, which I don't know about you, but I think that brands, certainly in this last 9-12 months, have used the pandemic to, and I say this tentatively because I know this might upset some people that are listening to this, but I think brands have used this as an excuse to accept a poor service experience. And we've warbled about it before. We've talked about banks, we've talked about insurance companies, we've talked about travel companies that have kind of hidden behind the, our people are working from home, therefore we can't give great service, or it's going to take longer to get in contact. And I think if, as we think it will, things return to a little bit of normality, I wonder what these businesses are going to vaccinate themselves of to make sure they give good customer experience again.
I love the way you're shoehorning this in. It's working really well.
You like that? So yeah, how are you going to vaccinate your business against poor service?
It's a great point. It is. It has almost been that excuse, and it's very similar to back in the normal times. If you think back into the mists of time, back to 2019, all those many millennia ago.
Lordy.
I always remember you're speaking to lots of people, and it's always Oh yeah, we're really sorry about that. When something doesn't work, in whether it's the experience or the service or whatever, yeah, we're really sorry about that, but we're really busy at the moment. It's that excuse, isn't it? It's the old, and you sat there as a customer going, well, how is, what am I supposed to do? Go, oh, it's okay, because
Mhm.
you know you're obviously doing really well and you're really busy and making lots of money, so it's okay that I don't get a good service. You're absolutely right there, Ryan. So yes, it has been this whole, yeah, but it, you know, it's a different situation. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It's a different situation for everybody. So yeah, that excuse is not there, and we know that people can adjust and pivot and change, and can do it rapidly. You know, you look at all of this. We are on podcasts. We've changed the way we do things. We were never going to do a podcast before this whole thing kicked off, were
No,
we? Yeah.
no. I mean, you know, some people have been. Some people may think that when COVID comes to an end, they'll get rid of us, and who knows? But yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things there for me, Rich. I think there is undoubtedly still a lot of nervousness. It's still early days. We shouldn't jump the gun, as you know, as we mentioned just now. It's still going to be a difficult few months until we get into the spring. But if I were a business, and I know we mentioned this last week when we were talking to Margaret Oscar, I would want to be thinking about my 2021 plan being really dynamic, because it will change. Things will change as we go throughout the early next year as well. But you know, having a really core plan about re-engaging my customers, my clients is important. I was chatting to a new client a little bit earlier today, and we were looking at their insight baseline, and we were talking about how do you collate data that is going to be useful to the organization. And he posed a really interesting challenge. Actually, he said, this is all great, Ryan, as long as we use it. And I thought, and I said, yeah, Nigel, you're absolutely right. I said, you know, there is no point you investing in an instant insight system if you're not going to use the instant insight to change the way you do things.
Yeah.
However, what was really apparent from that conversation was that particular organization have got to the point where they are knowing they've got to make some changes for the new year. They want to get ahead of that, and make sure they make the right decisions. And they're absolutely asking not just their customers, but they're asking their employees what's great about the organization, what they need to change, how they're going to change it. So they're almost self-vaccinating themselves with great insight. See what I did there again?
Nice.
To prepare the ground for the changes they want to make in their organization going forward.
Yeah.
We know, don't we, that the world isn't going to be the same again. We know that. We can't carry on the way we were, because, you know, changes need to be made. So I think from that perspective, we are at the beginning of the end. So now is the time to get ready for the beginning of the new post-COVID era.
And it's a great point to make in terms of that insight gathering. You know, what are we going to do something with it? Because traditionally, you know, businesses have gone, yeah, we better ask for some feedback, and then we'll put it in the bottom drawer, because we don't want to do anything about it. So you've got to ask the right questions, you know, and you can create surveys and do all these lovely things. But if we're not using the right terminology, not using the right measurement, then what are you going to do about it? It's like thinking about, and here's the top tips for everybody from today's session. It's measurement, really, really basics. If you're thinking about asking your customers what they think about you, your organization, your brand, and everything you do, then there's three main things that you can think about. One, net promoter score, NPS. You've probably heard about it. It's a score from above 100 to minus 100. And you take your promoters away from your detractors, and you get a number, you get a score. Now, this score is really important because it's about those people who will recommend your organization. So that means it's a really, really good flag for those loyal customers who follow you. So net promoted score is a really good one to do. However, it's not the be all and end all. So there's another two that you can think about. The CSAT, customer satisfaction. How satisfied are they? So again, that's not a scale of 1 to 10. This is thinking about how satisfied were you? Were you very satisfied, not at all satisfied, etc. And as it would suggest, it tells you about the satisfaction in the moment for a customer's experience. So that gives you another perspective about what's going on. And then finally, if things don't quite go as well as you would like them to, you can think about the customer effort score. So that's around looking at how easy was it to get stuff rectified, get stuff sorted when working with your organization as a client or a customer. So there's 3 areas there: NPS, CSAT, and CES. So for all those people out there listening, go, yeah, we must do some more feedback. Yeah, if you're going to do one very small thing, just ask those 3 areas, in those 3 areas. Of course, if you'd like some more assistance, myself and Ryan are here to assist, and we have a lovely platform called Insight 6 to do that. But that aside, those are the 3 main things that we can really think about at this moment in time, and it'll give you some clarity. And even if it reinforces your understanding and your belief about your organization, and it says, yes, you're right, you're doing the right things, brilliant. Because you can't just carry on sticking the old finger up in the wind and going, yeah, we'll go this way this year, because hey, we don't know what's going to happen again. Hopefully, it's the beginning of the end. So anyway, there's my little top tips there for everybody. I'm going to go and have a like.
What was it? Net Promoter.
Yep.
Seesaw.
Seesaw. That's the one. CSAT. ESAT. Customer satisfaction. And CES. Effort.
Yeah. Customer effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's lots of ways to measure, isn't there, how customers and your people are feeling. But you said it in response to what Nigel said to me earlier today. You've got to then do something with that data, and you've got to be really clear about the outputs of that data and what the effort is for collating that data in terms of changing the paradigm that you find yourself in at that particular moment in time. I think the other thing that I find interesting about statistics and data, and look, Rich, I suppose that's our job, isn't it? That's what we deal with. We get the data to help businesses move forward. Is once you've got your plan for next year devised, what are the deliverables? What are the key performance indicators that you are going to set up to help you and your team hit? Because it's really important, isn't it, when you put a plan together, that you continue to measure it and you continue to understand how it's moving forward. To find out whether the medicine, the vaccine that you've had is working and keeping your business safe. Because time and time again, I look at business plans that are created and all for all the right reasons and created with all the best intentions, but there's no measurement. There's no ongoing view of how you're doing.
Yeah.
And therefore, really, you have to question, why are you bothering doing it? If you don't do something with the data, there's no point having the data, in truth.
It's a good point, actually. Lead and lag KPIs was always an interesting one. I always remember having conversations about this when I was in the pharmaceutical industry. It's about what is the lead indicators. If you've got something in place, what means that's going to equal sales or more customers? What are the things you need to do? And that a lot of the time it's around behaviors. Are you answering the phone in the right way? Is your brand in the right in seen on the right platforms and things like that? And that can lead people to your business. And then lag indicators as well. Those are the things like, well, what were the sales like last month? So have we reached that? So lead and lag. So it's always a really interesting one to think about. Is it a lead or lag vaccine that you've got, sort of, in terms of the measurement side of things? So yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of things there from our point of view, which hopefully the listeners and viewers will be finding of some interest around where we find ourselves with some optimism. I feel. It feels good. It feels good to have something on the horizon.
And so my parting comment would be, keep drinking cider, because that will get you through the winter, of course. But more than that is think now about how you are going to vaccinate your business against poor experience and poor service. Take the steps. Analyze the issue. What are your symptoms? How do you address them? And then how do you measure where you are and put your plan in place to get yourself ready and fit for 2021? Because that optimism will soon start to filter through to consumers, and they will soon be picking up the phone and going online and buying products and services when we get out of this madness. So make sure you're ready.
Absolutely. Superb. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this little bit of a warble today, my esteemed colleague.
Yeah.
I've been Rich Knight.
I've been Ray Oxtable. Lovely to see you all and see you next week.
Cheerio.